Enthusiast Report. I'm sitting here with Ian Sommerhalder and Paul Wesely, owners of Brothers Bond Bourbon, which is a winning, world award-winning bourbon. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, brother, man. It's good to see you again, dude.
Yeah, it's great to see you again. Yeah, it hasn't been a while. It has been a while. Guys, there's been so much going on with Brothers Bond Bourbon, and it's just grown exceptionally over the last, how many years has it been now?
Almost 4 years.
4 years, and you guys have gotten just numerous awards across the board. You guys have gotten awards from us that have been double golds, 96 plus rated. You guys have gotten awards from the San Francisco Awards, right? And the line is just doing incredible. Tell me, and you guys have some new stuff coming out as well too. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, two of them are here. So this just got released. This is something we're so excited about. It is our regenerative grain bourbon, which is very unique, pretty rare. There's not very many of them out there. And you can talk a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, I mean, we you know, Brothers Bond since the beginning, right? Even as when we were just starting the company, the idea was to give back a portion, every bottle, to regenerative ag. And people go, well, why is that important? The long and the short of it is, regenerative agriculture is what's basically going to bring us out of this climate crisis, not in a politicized or polarizing way. I mean, just simple fact and science. So that's really special. It's about building farmer prosperity. But the cool thing about that we're doing is, that we're excited about, is bringing two words into the whiskey category that no one talks about: terroir and season. But in the wine business, it's everything, right? So we know what fields that corn came from. We know the producer, we know the people that grew it, and what that season was like. You taste a bit of there's nuance in the grain, because there are no pesticides and chemicals used to grow those grains. And so that's what's really special. And there's obviously...
The grains capture carbon from the atmosphere. So you're looking at a bottle of bourbon that's essentially doing good for the world.
Sequestered far more carbon than it produced.
Yeah,
you know?
so it's our first, we've been educating people, and as Ian mentioned, donating money every year, a portion of all of our sales. But this time, with this bottle, we're actually putting our money where our mouth is, and we actually created a regenerative grain bourbon, which is pretty unique.
With this process, do you feel like it affects the flavor profile at all? Whether it's better or whether it's worse? How do you?
Yeah, even just sitting talking with our brother Fred Minnick, he just said, it's so interesting, man. It's like there's a nuance of the grain that you taste. If you think about it, there are no chemicals. There's nothing used in that soil, right? So healthier soil, healthier plants. It's clearly going to change the profile of that grain, and you get that even through the distilling process.
Which is making it more of a pure bourbon.
It's the way it was always meant to be.
Yeah.
And so when you think about like pre and even post Prohibition, before what was technically like the Green New Deal, right? Which is after post World War II, is when we basically built the largest industrial food, basically food production machine in the world, and it was all chemical based, right? So before that, up until that, that's how it was grown, that's how it was made, and that's what's so special for us. And we are, this has been a long time coming, and we put a lot into this, and it's an exceptional whiskey at 95 proof. It's our new baby.
And it's award winning.
It's award winning.
Gold, yeah. And then this is our OG flagship bourbon. This is our most awarded SKU, which is the cast strength, which is just blowing people's minds. It's double gold, multiple years in a row at both New York and San Fran. And then this is not yet released, soon to be released. Hands down, my favorite of all of our products. And this is a bottled and bond, aged 7 years.
Wow.
Which is a very long time. So you have that incredible, viscosity and like that oakiness that it's aged in oak for 7 years. It has this just incredible texture. And this thing is bottled and bond, so it's 100 proof, and it's
98 points in San Francisco.
Yeah,
double
fantastic.
gold.
Which is huge.
Finalist for best in class.
And we also just love the name Brothers Bond, bottled and bond.
We were excited. This is something we could have released it at 4 years. We wanted to wait And that's what's special about this. Now that we're, like we mentioned, years into this, it allows us to take product that we've let sit and age. And particularly where this batch came from, these barrels in this rick house have really had a great go at it.
Yeah.
The nuances in this, clearly 98 points, double gold, finalist for best in class, but also too, like, bottled and bond, right? Like, this was something, not just representative of the bond that we have and the bond that we have.
Yeah.
When you sit in these places like this, right? These are not echo chambers. These are places of discovery.
Absolutely.
And so one of the cool things is, people that are not familiar, and I'm sure a lot of the people seeing this are all whiskey drinkers, and they probably know it, but it's cool for people to find out that bottled and bond, people say, well, what is the difference, bottled and bond? Bottled and bond was actually the first consumer protection law. The Bottled and Bond Act of 1897 was the first consumer protection law in the federal consumer protection law in the United States.
Wow.
And it was because prior to that, whiskey was the most counterfeited commodity, most counterfeited product in the U.S.
Wow.
And it was causing trouble.
Yeah.
People were getting sick. They were dying. They were going blind. Like, we were diving into just all the research for years now. And so it's meaningful, like Paul mentioned.
So bottled and bond, what it means is it's from a single distillery.
Same season.
Same season. And so you are essentially regulating where the product is coming from, how it's created, how it's sourced, how it's aged, etc. So it's like, it's
distilled and aged in Paul's bathroom.
You can't. It's not like you can blend, multiple barrels from multiple, distilleries. This is all one distillery in Indiana,
and we wanted to sit on it, and we got it to that special place, and we're just over the moon. We're over the moon, and that's the thing. It's like, listen, we had, like we mentioned earlier, we had this amazing jumping off just from being on TV for so many years. Now that whiskey drinkers, people who really drink whiskey, people who don't even drink whiskey, who are trying our whiskey, they realize, man, okay, these guys are real whiskey guys. Yeah. They work really hard on this. This is their passion. And so we want dads and brothers and uncles to know that this isn't just some flash in the pan. We're serious about blending and distilling whiskey.
Well, and Paul, I sat down with you guys when you first started years ago.
You were the first.
Yeah, I think I was one of the first to sit down with you guys when
Biggest
you guys started.
mistake of your career.
We had some good times for sure. But I can tell you, my 15 years in the spirits business and the premium cigar business as well, you guys are definitely two of the hardest working public figures in the spirits industry. And I believe that's why it's going so well. And I've sat with a lot of people that have kind of public figures, celebrities that have put their names on a brand and kind of just throw it out there as a marketing piece, which I can say is not the case for Brothers Bond. No. It's a premium bourbon. You guys have put your passion, you've put your time, you've sacrificed time with family, you've sacrificed time with your other careers as well to focus on this bourbon. And that's why with every taste you can see the passion that goes into the bourbon, the quality that goes into the bourbon. So I can't say with confidence and integrity that you guys are making great bourbon, and this is for a bourbon lover. This is not for just another celebrity brand. And it's so interesting because we talk with so many people within the spirits industry. We talk with pretty much everybody, from the big brands to the small brands to the celebrity brands to the marketing piece brands. Yeah. And I can tell you that there's quality in this bottle, and that every bourbon drinker, any Scotch, and if you're not, it's something you need to try. And if you have not tried it already,
we've converted a lot of non-bourbon drinkers with our bourbon because, it's like you can find something for everyone. Like this for example, my mom loves this. Yeah. And she did not typically drink dark spirits.
I've sat on
That's the 80 proof, right?
And the 80 proof, yeah. I've sat on a California hillside with his mom as the sun was setting, drinking this out of the bottle.
So
literally, like
it's the two of them.
Just
it was. We were doing a shoot, just to clarify.
But,
a lot of people there.
Nice.
Yeah,
but
are you my father? Yeah.
I'm your uncle
You're
too.
my brother and my father.
You can call me Your bro pap. But it's, this is what you get when you get stuck with us. But this is, this 80 proof flagship, and we can announce this. This is, I mean, you've treated us like family, man. This 80 proof flagship, we're actually about to jack up to 85 proof.
Oh wow.
A little stronger, even a little more nuanced.
We've done like so many. We just want everything. We've been, as the company has matured. We keep revisiting our products. And we're like, do we maybe we want to switch it up? And for us, we found that this at 85 proof was just slightly more.
There's just more to it.
A little more texture, and so we want to re-release it. Some people may not even notice, but I think the ones that do will appreciate it.
Absolutely. But there is something for everyone. You've got, an 80 proof. This is not an entry point whiskey. This is just a really listen, we knew we needed two things. We needed immediate approachability, literally, out of the bottle, but we needed a complexity that even the snootiest, pardon my French, bitchiest, bearded, usually I am, bourbon drinker, where we can sip this whiskey and they can say literally, this is a well-crafted spirit. And then our cask, our most award-winning, it's this mash bill at cask strength, multiple double golds in San Francisco, finalist for best in class in New York, plus double gold. And then our region, we went to the mat. How do we get whiskey that's not 5 or 7 or 10 years old to taste really mature and beautiful? And we went into barrel innovation, and we busted our asses to innovate in our barreling process. And then our bottled and bond, and then also too, really educating people on the fact that regenerative agriculture is about to shift the global agricultural economy, right? Yeah. And we're doing it in the United States right now as we speak, right? We're building the single largest carbon capture food economy in the world. And grains are a big part of that. And it's pretty amazing, right? You think about production acres in the U.S., about 200 million acres. When you start seeing that shifting to regen, dude, the world will shift on its axis when countries start doing that. So we're just really proud of this lineup, I will say, and people, people were asking us, they said, well, why is your bottled and bond not the same mash bill? And to be honest with you, it's got to be from the same season, right?
Yeah.
This is a 4-grain whiskey, and we have a wheated bourbon that we love. But I'm going to be honest with you, at 4 years, our wheated bourbon is not where we want it to be. So we do let it sit a little longer. And we couldn't do our bottled and bond. We're not going to just bottle it, just say it's the same mash bill. This mash bill is a little different, and it's really special. And at 98 points and a double gold, it speaks for itself. So Paul and I are over the moon, man.
Yes. So tell us the story, guys, that you've had in the last 4 years together over Brothers Bond.
Tell you what.
A great story. Funny story, some kind of story.
Each other yet.
Funny story?
Can I have a torch?
Yeah, go right.
Yeah.
How we doing?
Can I have a torch? Start lighting me.
443? Okay.
Thanks, brother.
Funny story. I don't know. I mean, we've had so many crazy experiences.
Well, I will
Tell us
tell
what you guys have learned over the last 4 years, being in the spirits business now.
I mean, I think the thing that what you had said, just recently was just when we sat down and you had mentioned that we're not just the faces and we're very involved. As you could see, we're literally talking about, our mash bill. We're talking about, where it sits in the rick house, etc. I think that is something that, there's just such an influx of people coming out with liquor, alcohol brands, and it's just, frankly, it can be a little much for the average.
We can slap our names on this.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, people look at it and they're like, ugh, it's those guys from the vampire show, and they're pushing some product and they don't even know anything about it. And I think that's the thing that we really are proud of, the fact that we're so deeply involved. And I think that's something that people need to learn. If you're going to launch a brand, get behind it and make it your own, and really, really stand by it, and don't just don't just post an Instagram photo and disappear for 6 months.
And also too, oh sorry. Go ahead.
And you guys are involved in all the distilling processes, everything that goes into it.
This
Yeah.
is
It's
our
not
baby.
just
We design the
marketing guys.
labels.
This is our-
we
this is
we
our-
do everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
And also
literally
too,
everything.
like, there was a cork. We couldn't get our specific corks we were going to launch, and Paul was shooting, and he was like, I don't know what's going to happen with production, and we were like, all right, so we'll book tickets. We were going to Vincent and I had definitely, if his schedule was going to open up,
Vincent's our CEO.
our CEO and our other co-founder, we were going to fly to Portugal. It's the only truly sustainable cork factory in the world that does it like this. And we were all going to meet there with duffel bags and basically pick up 250,000 corks, because that's the one, like we knew. So even dry goods we freak out about. We just designed our own bottles.
Were you
Those
going
are
to
coming.
carry them over the border in a
I
duffel
was going
bag?
to put them in your bag. But one of the things I think we learned from this experience over the last number of years is sitting in places like this and bonding with people and their stories, hearing their stories, which is, what we talked about with the society that we want to build,
Yeah.
the Bourbon Society. It's the stories that we hear, and we get to bond over our story and then bond over other people's stories. And that's what I was just saying. Whiskey, like these places, this is a level playing field. It doesn't matter whether you're a C-suite executive, a publisher, or just a dad who finished work early and before heading home is just going to take a couple minutes to himself and just sit with his comrades and talk.
Yeah.
But sharing those stories over a whiskey and a cigar has been really special for us, and it's amazing everyone we've gotten to talk to.
Absolutely.
That's been really special.
So what's next for Brothers Bond Bourbon?
Next, we're just gonna keep.
We've got some big launches.
Yeah,
coming.
we're gonna keep innovating. We're gonna do specific barrel programs as well.
Really small.
We're gonna do what we want to do is also curate things for whether it's a restaurant or
a region.
or a retailer that says, hey, I want to create the Brothers Bond blend for this specific retailer, and so what we want to do is really customize and curate the experiences, so it's a really, it's a bespoke brand, and it's not just, we are a commercial brand in the sense that we're available widely in 40-something states, Canada, and now in Europe. And
By the way,
but we want to be bespoke.
24,000 points of distribution.
Fantastic.
We've managed that with a team of like 6 people.
If that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been,
That's
that is
fantastic.
pretty, in going back to this bespoke component, that's what I was so excited to sit and talk to you about, because when we sit back and we look at our barrels and we look at specific rick houses, and we've been able to build a consistency and understand. So specific cooperages distilled at specific times of the year with specific grains yield very specific flavor profiles, and we learned that, and we've got a big giant book that we can go back and reference and say, okay, these are the barrels we're going to pull for this specific one.
Mm-hmm.
Now getting to come in and micro batch this stuff, which we've just been
great.
geeking out on. But we had to
That's a
get
lot of fun.
this done in production and bottled, and now we're going to start. And we're going to get to launch all this October 5th for the most part in San Francisco. And it's really a special time for us. So what's next is getting our regenerative whiskey out, getting bottled and bond out, and getting this up to 85 proof and getting that out, and really focused on showing whiskey drinkers that this cask strength, there's a reason it's multiple double golds for multiple years. There's a reason this is 98 points.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason this is going to change the game.
And we're also we really want to do some finished barrels too, some finished blends. So we want to maybe age it in whether it's Cabernet barrels or
I've got
port or
we've got we'll do a reel, but we have a digital space out in Malibu, and people say, where are all the barrel finishes? And I've got this slow, like cinematic pan of all of the all the innovation we've done, not the specifics, but I think once people put that together and they're like, oh my gosh, so they know exactly what Cab tastes like, Syrah tastes like, what cognac tastes like, what, Caribbean rum versus Nicaraguan rum cast tastes like the innovation pipeline that we've been spent the last 4 years on is extensive. And now that we're in our 40s, man, we're like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
It's no longer two guys like you mentioned from this vampire show. This is so. Thank you to you and your team, and Vinny, you guys. Thank you and to anyone seeing this, we're excited to not just release these, but become part of the conversation because we're in this bourbon community, and we're making whiskey. Our whole goal too was initially, because there were so many finished bourbons out there for a long time. Clearly, our buddy Wes Henderson has done it. Angel's Envy crushes.
Yeah.
Our buddies at Penelope have done it. They crush it. And we sat down, all of us, and we just realized, like, we have the ability to produce whiskey that doesn't even require being finished.
Yeah.
That's such quality coming from the distillation and the blending process. That's what we're so excited about. So, here we are, man.
Well, fantastic, guys. Thank you so much, Paul, Ian. I appreciate you guys very much today. I appreciate your time.
He didn't let you get a word in, did he?
No.
Yeah.
It's about you guys, my brother's bond, for sure, guys.
Thanks, man. Thanks
Cheers.
for having us.
Congratulations,
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.